The Racing.com app, your racing connection for news, race replays, tips and national form. Download wherever you get your apps.
Into the yard we go for the opener, the Bareldo Coffee maiden plate over 1,100 metres, and we'll start it off with Mafee, who's third up, Sam.
Yeah, 4-year-old by Key Mafee's had the 9 starts, placed on a couple of occasions, gets here third up, as you say, but has shown very little in the 2 starts this time in. Has been a little bit disappointing, to be honest. There's a bit of competitiveness at the top of this race, and there's probably a bit of a gap between what we've seen from Mafee and what would be required.
Yep, so that is...
It was caught a touch wide, but it was so well beaten last time out at a big price. Very hard to see turning that around. You probably need to take it on a bit of trust if you wanted to have something on.
We're going to have a look at Planet Mars a little later. Let's, in the meantime, look at Ruby Avenue. It was beaten by a decent horse a few starts ago in Trembles. Back in trip today, could that help him?
Oh, potentially could, back from the 1,200, but hasn't shown a great deal. It's been placed on a couple of occasions. It was a good enough run behind Trembles, still beaten 4 lengths, led and dragged Botanical Boy into the race when running third at Pakenham in a small field, still beaten a couple of lengths, and disappointing last time at 1,200 when favourite. But this is one that maybe can improve a touch coming back, because its better form was at the 1,000. But again, there's a few at the top here that I'd have in front of it.
For mine, I'm not the form expert, but I thought the 2-year-olds looked more interesting runners in this race. And we start off our look at the 2-year-olds with Ammo, who kicked off in the Talindit, hasn't been seen since, has been gelded since then. Yeah,
it went pretty poor in that Talindit, or the Talindit, whichever way we'd like to say. Is it Talindit or Talindit?
Yeah, I think it's named after a particular place that was called Talindit.
Oh, well, I've been wrong my entire life so far, so Talindit. Nice to know. Well spelled and gelded, as you say. It's had a couple of jump outs. The latest was a good second, chasing a reasonable unraced type. The time was only fair, but it did trial well before a poor debut. But the gelding's going to be the key. It's trialled nicely for a race like this. That disappointment, if we can put a line through that and put it to a couple of things that have now been removed, it can run well.
Reece Goodwin's had a few options race-wise with Bermondsey. He's elected to run this gelding here today.
Lightly raced, had a couple of starts last preparation, looked really good running third in a Blue Diamond preview at a big price behind Shining Smile, and backed it up with a reasonable run a very good run, I should say, at Sandown last preparation, and 2-year-old there behind Tom. Returned here and pulled up lame, so you can forgive that. It's had a jump out since. I think this horse is a little bit above average. It was scratched from a race or 2 leading into this as well, and I quite liked it in the race that it was scratched for prior to this, and I did hear, I can't remember which jockey was supposed to be on it that day, but they did say that they were disappointed because that was the horse they were going there for. I'm happy to have it on top. Winkers on, looks to have a bit of ability. A fairly tall, narrow sort of type, but being a 2-year-old, it'll fill out.
Galactic Force is a colt by Cosmic Force, a 2-year-old, on debut this afternoon for the Moody Coleman team.
Lugging bit and nose roll both on here for Galactic Force. This colt's had 3 jump outs. 2 of them have been this prep. I thought they were both solid enough third placings to suggest that it can be ready for a debut from a good gate where it can be nice and forward.
The 10 resumes, a gelding by Admire Mars from the mare Overreactive. This is High Strung.
Good name. Was a touch disappointing last preparation, particularly second start at Cranbourne when it SP'd a hot $2.60 and was very disappointing from up near the speed. It's had 3 jump outs this time in. The latest was a stark improvement on the 2 prior. It was really ridden out hard to win in what was solid time. This will be fit, you would think, for this return. I'm just not sold on those jump outs as to say it's like right at the pointy end of this race for me, but certainly they've ridden it along, and I expect that they'll be trying to have it fit for this.
Zoo South is from the Freedman stable on debut, 2-year-old by Zoo Zane, Billy Egan rides.
Drawn barrier 1, so you'll get every opportunity to be fairly handy. He's had the 3 jump outs in the career. 2 have been this prep, both were second placings, but my little concern with Zoo South, it was under a little bit of riding to hold those positions. Another, similar to the last horse, High Strung, that I just haven't been sold on those jump outs to say that it's ready to win first up, but no doubt there's ability and can be competitive.
Queen of Mafee, you would think, would need to improve here?
Yeah, poor debut at a big price. It was at Seymour, Queen of Mercia, and I would expect that it's going to find this a bit beyond it.
Jetmouth 16 carats resumes.
1 start last preparation, well beaten at Kyneton. 3 jump outs that we've seen. There isn't anything in them to suggest that it's improved.
All right, so that's the field. We missed a couple when we went through them the first time, so we need to play a little bit of catch-up, and we'll go back to the 2, rather the 3 Planet Mars.
10 starts unplaced prior to this start. It's only had the 1 run this preparation, though, and it just got a long way back behind 3-point turn at Pakenham. Not shown enough to suggest that it can improve to be winning this, but was okay when finishing 4th last time. Maybe it can improve a touch.
There's Test by Fire, the 6, who we haven't seen figure in your top 4.
Another one who's unplaced from a fair few starts now, 7 starts. This horse returns off 1 jump out. I thought it was a reasonable 3rd placing, but it did suck up the fence there at Mornington on a soft 7. Just hasn't shown a great deal through last preparation. What I will say for Test by Fire, this is probably a touch easier than some of the maidens it has taken on previously, but still hasn't shown a great deal, Edward.
What's made the top 4 here, Sam?
Bermondsey. For me, I actually think it's a backable price. I think there's a bit of upside about this horse, and it could be one that's got a touch of race fitness on a couple of the others that look like they're the better horses in this race. And Galactic Force is one of those. Ammo returning gelded. High Strung is one that I probably don't have quite as highly as those other couple, the first 3. But I think Bermondsey gets here at a backable price with that race start under the belt this preparation.
Really tough one for the punters to kick off the day. They've got interest in a number of these runners here. Bermondsey leading the way, 460 into 440 throughout the parade for the favourite. Zoo South has had some backing into second favourite now, and 460. Galactic Force has been rock solid at that 480 quote. The one Mafee into 850, continuing to be back throughout the parade. That'd be the mover through, I should say, and number 3, Planet Mars, another one. So there's interest in a number of these runners. Bermondsey leading the way. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website.
3 minutes out from scheduled jump time. They're behind the stalls, and have to say, I did like the look of that cam of the horses coming out of the tunnel. Good to get that access. Let's go to you, Gemma. Who have you lined up for a chat here?
Thanks, Ed. Well, we've got Billy here who's representing the 11, Zoo South, the 3-minute yard. So debutant Billy, and you've elected to put the winkers on here for his first start, not messing around. Can you just run us through that gear?
Yeah, absolutely. He trialled here a couple of weeks ago and he just seemed to plateau a little bit that last 100 metres, so we just thought we'd apply the winkers today to ensure that he was as sharp as he possibly could be at his first start.
Yep, so just a little bit of focus for this one. So he's had the 2 jump outs that he's gone really well in, and he's up past 2, and so one of them was here on the synthetic. So he's come through that good, and you think that he's going to cope with synthetic, no worries.
Yeah, we were really happy with the way he came through that jump out here, so happy to bring him back here and put him on the synthetic for his first start.
Okay, he's got barrier 1. Have you had a discussion with Billy about this win, and do you think you'll be able to get some cover, and what's your plan?
Billy seems to think that it's going to be all right. It seems to be coming from behind them when they're in the straight. So, yeah, gate 1, he'll jump, he'll be positive, follow the rail, which is beneficial for 2-year-olds, and hopefully be too hard to run down.
Okay, well, fingers crossed that he puts in a really nice debut for you guys. You've also got Charcoals as a favourite in race 6. Can you run us through this, gelding?
Yeah, he's a lovely horse. He's making his way through the grades for very loyal clients, my racehorse. So really happy bringing him here today. He obviously won here over the 1100 last start. Steps up to 1200, which we have no issues with. So, yeah, really happy with him.
Okay, so he comes here in brilliant order and he hasn't taken any steps backwards from his last start?
No, absolutely not. He seems to have tightened up from it and comes here today and probably is deserved to be favourite.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck with both runners. 2 key chances.
Thank you.
Good to hear from Billy there from the Anthony and Sam Freedman stable regarding their chance in this race. Zoo South as well as Charcoals, who's trying to make it back-to-back wins later on. Sam, Gabby, final thoughts before we head to TV?
Interesting to see this wind. That's the key here. Is the camera shakes around a bit, but yeah.
Good money for the favourite, late into 390, clear favourite, and the one Mafee is the market mover of the rest.
Moving in then, TB, I know where you're calling from at Pakenham. You're on top of the grandstand there. Are you feeling comfortable? Is it a windy day that's affecting you upstairs?
No, nothing really affects me too much, Edward. And hello to the team market Sky Channel as well, as we get ready for the running of the first. Hello to Gab. Hope you're working tomorrow, Gab. It'd be good to see you again. And also to Sam. He's been on fire lately, Sam. He's tipped a lot of winners. Very unusual. So this wind is very, very strong. This is a tough race. As they went onto the track, the horse that I like was Mafee. Geez, he looked well. The top weight. He's $10 into 8. Looked fantastic. Of the younger horses, I'm going Bermondsey, but some of them have trialled moderately. High Strung, fair, Ammo, pretty fair. So there's no real strong push from what I could see from most of these runners from the trials. Now, Planet Mars moves up. Jim of 16 carats. Better make sure I get that right. Gem of 16 carats moves in for Brad Rawiller. It's 100 to 1 shot. Mo out of the gate, so too Mafee, now being led to the back of the machine and comes in. I think it's Queen of Mercia. Once they get behind the barrier, you don't see them again. If you haven't learnt the colours, you're in a truckload of pain. Now, the last couple to move in, Mo, who trailed up moderately at best the other day. Was only a trial, but punters weren't too impressed. It's out the gate in betting. And as we had last week, we had, I think, 1 or 2 late scratchings in the first race. With that wind stirring these horses up, Mo moves in, Queen of Mercia to get set. And there's another one out there I could just see, a little cap bobbing. And that's the clerk of the course. He's not going around in this. So Queen of Mercia moves in. Bermondsey, $3.90 favourite. In a challenging first on the card. Into a strong wind, they're off. Test of Fire, Queen of Mercia slow. Zoo South, Mafee, and also On My Own quickly out in the centre. Out deep on the track, going forward smartly, going up towards the leaders then. Would have been Zoo Style, and going fast around them also was Planet Mars. So sorting their order out. Planet Mars moves up to Zoo South. There's a neck between them. On My Own 3 out, Mafee the centre. On the rail is Galactic Force, and then came well back in the run, being niggled out a little bit, then would have been Ruby Avenue. They were followed by Gem of the South, high strung in front of it from Mo. Bermondsey's in a trick spot. Test of Fire, Queen of Mercia last as they corner. Zoo South in front, leading from Planet Mars flat. A length away behind those on the outside, On My Own. Then came making ground Galactic Force, looking for a bit of room. And Mafee popped the question from Ruby Avenue. Zoo South in front, but here's Mafee on the outside with Planet Mars. Planet Mars goes to Zoo South, who fought on. Mafee comes at the pair. Zoo South in front, Mafee lunging on the outside, coming home the better, takes the lead from Planet Mars, and Mafee from Planet Mars and Zoo South and Galactic Force from behind those. Gem of 16 carats, high strung. Bermondsey, not much luck from Mo. They were followed by Ruby Avenue, a fair way back in the field, pulling up On My Own, Queen of Mercia, and Test by Fire alongside of it. Looked at absolute $1 million in the yard, that horse, Mafee, and it had the race won a long way out. It took a fair while to get rid of them. It had them covered most of the trip. It was bolting behind them for Matt Cartwright and Clay Beasley and Carlo Vidotto, and has been able to win from Planet Mars, who was 17 into 11, has run a cheeky race. Zoo South third. Galactic Force behind those. But Bermondsey just got into a horror spot on the run and had no chance. Total Forgive run for him, and the others didn't do a great deal. But it was all Mafee charging up on the outside. He looked like he'd win by a couple of lengths there at one stage, but he had a bit of a battle. He is a son of Akeed Mafeed, and at start number 10. Third run this term, has been able to get the money. The first time he's hit a synthetic track, he's handled it ace. Second to Planet Mars for the Costin Gilmore combination, Craig Newitt. Having its first run, that makes that 3-point turn form look okay. And Zoo South on the speed into the wind, as where the winner of the race had cover for much of the trip, except for in the home straight. 1, 3, 11 and 9. Time for the race is not overly fast at 1:05.10. Half length by a long neck, a half length by a long neck. And Mafee has proven too good for them. Well, he was on soft ground last time out. His form, he'd shown a little bit of ability on a couple of occasions. It looked like a case that he'd matured this time in. He looked in magnificent order going onto the track. I had a chat to Clay about his dad and mum and see how they're all travelling. They're all travelling a lot better now, Gemma, because that was a solid performance for him today.
You can call me Gemma if you like, TB, not a problem there. It's 1, 3, 11 and 9 after that opening race. And well done to Matt Cartwright, because he's here back from New Zealand where he had a successful time of things there, and he's now back. That's his first winner back from his New Zealand trip. Let's go to you, Gemma. Who have you got alongside of you this time?
Alrighty, we are here now. We had a little bit of a technical malfunction with the microphone, but we've got Clay, and he's very happy because this horse has won here third up and at a decent price too. Clay, were you expecting that?
Look, on the synthetic track was sort of our plan, because he was a bit disappointing at Sale, I thought. We expected a bit more there. And same first up at Moe as well. So getting him back on top of the ground on the synthetics obviously helped him a great deal. And look, Matty gave him a 10 out of 10 there. We wanted to sort of cuddle him up today and have one sort of last crack at him. And Matty executed that perfect.
Oh, didn't he ever? So he had a bit of cover there, and then he had the wind pushing him in the straight. So it was a perfect ride by him. But we looked through his form last preparation. He wasn't beaten far at all. So he certainly has the ability. Perhaps do you think it was maybe just a case of the soft 7 and the soft 5 first and second up?
Definitely this time around. He's obviously mixed his form a little bit previously as well. I do think blinkers have helped him. You can even see today when he hit the front, he sort of pricked the ears and wanted to have a think about it. But now hopefully he's got the maiden out of the way, he can go on with it.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. Well, well done here. It's a great victory for you.
Thank you.
Here he is coming back into the yard with his beautiful orange blinkers on. It's good to interview Clay with another winner. I haven't seen him in a long time. Actually, Clay does a really good job. He rides a lot of them himself. We bring over winning rider Matt Cartwright, who's given this horse an absolute peach. Did that go as according to plan? That was the plan from the outset?
Yeah, look, his horse was always showing pace in his races, and we wanted to just ride him with a little bit of a sit today just to see if he could finish it off. He hasn't been finished off in previous races, and look, he travelled lovely for me, and he didn't give a good kick, but he grinded away, he got the job done, so I feel like the horse will get confidence out of it and hopefully improve.
Talk to us about this weather here. What was the wind like heading to the gates, at the gates, and you had a little bit of cover up the back straight, so you're okay, but is it quite strong?
It is. It's a very strong headwind down the back straight, and it's probably really taking account on horses what probably are exposed. So I feel like cover will be key today. It's quite strong, that wind.
Great insight. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Good to see Matt Cartwright back riding winners here in Victoria. One ride, one win for him. He can go home and enjoy the rest of his Monday. The win was a question mark coming into today. Strong headwind and Longland back, according to Matt.
It was. I just want to point this out because your second and third horses are here as well. So this is going to count for a little bit as we roll it. I would have thought... Oh, look, let's talk about the winner first. Had him in a great position in the 1-1, covered up perfectly, got the job done. I tell you what, the 2-year-olds have been disappointing here because a few of these, yes, they got back and they were in reasonable positions. High Strung was playing. I thought the third horse, Zoo South, who led, he was okay. That was the better of them. But a couple of the others were a bit disappointing. But Monzi gets out late and hits the line. But you can see those two horses up on speed that ran into the headwind up the back. They box on fairly here. So the time is basically bang on standards. I'm not so sure how to read this too because that second horse has had 10 starts unplaced, 5 goes here at the track unplaced as well. Has run into a headwind up the back and still been able to box on fairly. For me, there's a bit of a query on the form of the race and potentially just how strong that headwind is, how much it will be an issue. The horse that I'm keen on following there is Bermondsey. The horse I had on top and the favourite in the race. It got a long way back in an awkward position and worked home steadily down the outside. It was a clear, you can see it in the winkers getting down the outside. The clear run of the race from those horses back in the field. But yeah, to be honest, a bit of a head scratcher first up to see exactly what that headwind